good evening, or good morning, depending upon when you watch this. I have just a couple topics to touch on. First, welcome to Ramblings with Joe. We're going to get to rambling. It's Memorial Day. I'd like to recognize all of the fallen who joined the military to protect and serve our country. Whether or not we agree with the wars they were involved in, we can all agree that their patriotism should not go unacknowledged. So, thank you. That's the first topic. Topic number 2. I'd like to talk about this past election and a little bit about the cats jumping on the table and really making a lot of noise in the other room. I may need to turn this down just a tad. There we go. So, I'd like to talk a little bit about this past election and the anger that I'm seeing from friends and acquaintances. The animosity that they are causing amongst their friends and family members. Hate is a powerful word. Hate. Hate is something that should be reserved for someone who is doing you evil. Hate is something that should be reserved for someone who is doing your family evil. Hate should never be used against someone who votes different than you. It is my opinion that Kamala Harris disqualified herself by not insisting that Joe Biden be replaced as president because he was not capable of doing the duties of the president and the commander-in-chief. There's that. She did not fulfill her duties as the vice president. Why in the world should anybody vote for her as president? Tonight I'm having a chai latte. There are many people who think that this is a girly drink.
It is.
It is not a girly drink. Ignore the woman behind the curtain. It calms your nerves before you go to the range and fire off a few rounds.
That's why it's a girly drink.
It is great. I am 100% sure. Just before entering into any battle,
It keeps the girlies calm.
it will let you be a better warrior.
But first, chai latte.
Look, here's the truth of the matter. Number 1, tastes pretty damn good. Number 2, this one's got cursing in it, so I have to check that box. Number 2, I accidentally discovered something about chai latte. If you drink a chai latte about an hour or 2 before bedtime, for some reason, you sleep so much better. Now, this is a caffeine-free chai latte. Where is the chai out of?
They can't have the recipe.
You can't have the recipe, so go to hell.
South Africa.
South Africa.
South African red bush.
South African red bush. That's the chai.
Chai is Indian for tea or.
Okay.
Indian for
So
tea.
South African red bush tea
I replaced the black tea,
because it had
South African red bush, to make it caffeine free.
caffeine free. I'm not sure if it's
That's the same.
I'm not sure if it's the milk that is warmed up. Obviously, it's hot tea. If it's the chai, but the combination, I will sleep good tonight. I know I will. Perhaps it's just what is that effect called when you expect something so it happens?
placebo.
Perhaps it's just a placebo, and because
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
huh? Self-fulfilling prophecy. I need to get her a microphone. Or, I don't think so, though, because the first time I realized that it affected me, I had another one.
The
A
will
few,
and the word.
I had another one a few nights later and again. So I don't think it's. I think it's the chai. I meant to leave my brother some this weekend. Spent the day at his house, and things got mixed up, and it's here still. So we'll get it to him eventually. He has a little bit of trouble sleeping also. Speaking too.
You have a little bit of trouble of trying new things as
I'm
well.
gonna get her. I'm gonna get the microphone out and make her sit over here with me, because the peanut gallery's got to be mic'd. At any rate, I have one more topic I'd like to discuss. So no matter who you voted for, no matter if you voted for Kamala, I respect your choice. You do what you think is best for the country, and that will always have my respect. I can disagree with you, and I have expressed why I think that Kamala Harris should never have been a candidate for the presidency. This is being proven out now by the news about President Biden and his health during his presidency. At this point, I think it's kind of undeniable. It is so ironic to me that the left is just kind of turning everything around and becoming the right in so many aspects. They attacked, after Ronald Reagan left office, they attacked the man and said that he was suffering from dementia while in the office. And then they put Joe Biden in. The irony is not lost on anybody my age. Ronald Reagan was my commander-in-chief, so just so you all know that I'm a bit biased to the man. My father did not like him at all. We avoided talking about it because we didn't want to have that argument. Now let's move on to the most contentious thing that I have seen in recent times on social media. And it has to do with I really just don't care if I get shadow banned or kicked off, whatever. I'm going to use the actual words. It has to do with COVID-19. It has to do with the shot, with the vaccine, so-called vaccine, because technically it's not a vaccine. It is a
Gene therapy.
It is a gene therapy. She's over there again, giving her 2 cents. And there are people that think I'm anti-vaccine. I was in the Navy from 83 to 87. While in the Navy, I was a hospital corpsman. Now, the hospital corpsman is unlike any other medical enlisted personnel in the other services. We actually administered medicine. Now, for a while there, I ran the STD clinic, sexually transmitted disease, for those younger people who call it something else now. It is a rather nasty but fulfilling job because mostly you were able to cure the problems that the Marines came in with. I was stationed with the Marines. They don't have their own medical department, so the Navy fills in. That was very fulfilling. It was very gnarly, nasty, awkward, a lot of... And then I got moved over to the immunization department where, yep, you got it. I did testing, I drew blood, I gave vaccines. Now, the Marines would come in to get their vaccines. Let me tell you this. The Marines who get vaccines, some of them would rather take a round to the shoulder, to the leg. I will never understand it. I have seen full-grown Marines absolutely lose their cool when they realized they had to get a shot. No clue. Toughest sons of guns that you ever want to meet. but that needle. Anyway, I don't know how many thousands of vaccines I gave. I also did blood draws, and I don't know how many thousands of those I did. During my tenure in the Navy, the AIDS crisis broke out, and that became something that we drew blood. We drew blood on the regular basis to find out if the Marines and assigned Navy personnel had it. But this is about the vaccines. I gave thousands of vaccines, I'm sure. I would go to the hangar with the pneumatic setup, the gun that everybody hated, because if you didn't know what you were doing, you could cut somebody with the gun. And the way the gun worked is, put it up to the Marine's arm, you pull the trigger, it shot the dosage into the Marine. That's it. If you didn't know what you were doing, and if you weren't willing to get your hands dirty, you could cut somebody. The proper way to do it is grab them right up under the arm. You just get a hold to them, and you take that gun and you push it into them, and you pop. Nobody moves. Nobody gets sliced. Good deal. Anyway, we could do 200-300 Marines a day. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I am not someone who thinks that vaccines are the devil's handiwork. That being said, as a matter of fact, I'm up to date on my vaccines. I am up to date on my tetanus shot. The vaccines we gave were very mundane, military deployment vaccines. We gave the plague series, typhoid. We did a lot of tuberculosis testing, which is PPD, purified protein derivative. You'd give it up under the skin. It was subcutaneous, and the Marine would have to come back for that one to see if there was a reaction. It was a test and not a vaccine. It was just to see if someone had the proteins for tuberculosis. We did a lot of stuff, okay? Bicillin. You know, that was the golf ball to the butt cheek. I'm sure if you've ever got it, you'll remember it because you don't want to sit down after you get it.
Yeah, totally right.
Oh, yeah. And
Remember that one.
what everybody hated is we and I didn't realize this until I got into the fleet and got my training as a hospital corpsman, but they actually tried to schedule exercise after you get it. It's miserable, but it lessens the length of effects. And I didn't know that until, the training happened. Anyway, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. As a matter of fact, right now, I'd like to point out that the anti-vaxxers before COVID were on the left. They were not on the right. They were on the left. They were people who believed that autism was being caused by vaccines, not by conservatives. This was thought by the likes of Lisa Bonet. I can't remember the blonde. Anyway, these were people on the left, not the right. When COVID hit, things started to kind of shift because things seemed a little wonky. Now, what the left doesn't want to talk about is Operation Warp Speed. That was instituted by our current president during his first term. So you can thank Donald Trump for bringing forth the COVID inoculation. Not Joe Biden, not Anthony Fauci, Donald Trump. He's the one that did the whole let's get this going. I have said it before, I will say it again. Not a fan of Donald Trump. That aside, when I looked, and when I say the wife did most of the research, and we had some long talks about this. COVID vaccine, I'm not sure if it was Moderna or Johnson & Johnson or what's the other one? I forget who was the first to bring it to market.
What? BioNTech?
BioNTech. I'm not sure which one it was. 11 months. This was bought up in 11 months.
Johnson & Johnson.
She's listing all the ones I just listed. She's doing something else over there, so occasionally she's going to pipe up and yeah, Linux commands. Anyway, we talked about it and we decided, okay, well, I don't trust this technology. Yes, I understand. I've already had COVID. We had both already had COVID. Wasn't any fun. First time sucked. You know, it's like jumping into the deep end on a cold winter day. It was horrible. I had a miserable time of it. But I had natural immunity. There are fireworks going off for Memorial Day. I had natural immunity. After I got it, I was like, okay, I've got it. I'm overweight, but I've had it. It's done. So we made the decision to not get the shot. I got COVID 5 total times. Every time I got it, it was easier. At the last time I got it, I didn't think I had it. I got my nose swab, and it was like, yeah, I really got it. What can you do? It was a cold was worse than the 5th time I got it. So I'm not getting the shot. I don't know what the mRNA is doing. Yes, they were working on the mRNA since 80s, 70s, the first time around. And then they came out and they worked on it some more.
Rabies vaccine.
It was never bought.
Rabies vaccine is mRNA.
It was never bought to market.
Was it?
It was not. The very first mRNA vaccine issued was COVID. And it was rolled out after, it's kind of ambiguous there because they may have been working on it a little bit before, but it was between 10 and 11 months. So let's talk about what the average shot, the average vaccine rollout timeline is. It's 10 times that. It's 15 years of studying. They combined the COVID mRNA shots, stage 2 and 3 testing. They did them at the same time. Everything was accelerated. I'm not saying they were wrong to do it. I have my own opinions about that, but that's my choice. I am not an anti-measles vaccine person. I think you should get the chicken pox, the measles. I think you should know what you're getting. I don't think that you should be getting some kind of test vaccine that's not been proven, but these have all been proven. They've all gone through the 15-year rollout. What brought this up was I have an acquaintance that posted something about science. And the science that he posted was something along the lines of, if you're questioning science, how did he put it? I'd use my phone, but I'm using it to record. Basically what it came down to is if you're questioning science, you're not doing research. You're just denying the truth. Well, that's not true. Today, not tomorrow, not yesterday, not 5 years ago, not anything but today, the numbers are between 80 and 90% of scientists think that the mRNA is safe. That's the best estimate they can come up with. That means that between 10 and 20% of scientists don't think it is. Okay. So, I did a little bit of refreshing my memory about the whole mRNA thing. That's why I've got the numbers down pretty good right now. And by, threat of violence, my wife has told me not to come to this microphone with numbers unless I have them. So I hope I'm making her proud. Anyway, I cannot tell you how much I respect this guy, but the idea that I'm going to go and listen to him or my or more importantly, my doctor, my personal doctor, or someone else tell me what shots to get without me looking at the information and making a decision. Well, I have family members that got these shots, lots of them. I have a mother I didn't get to see, who I couldn't get to see for other reasons other than the shot, but also because I didn't get the shot. I'm good with that. I understand. Well, now I've had it 5 times. I'm not good with it anymore. The idea that someone can tell me that I'm denying science. I'm not denying anything. I looked at what's going on and I made a decision for myself. My wife looked at what's going on. She made a decision for herself. The lockdowns were wrong. Period. End of story. The freedom has a cost. My rights end at your nose. And if you don't want to be around me because I didn't get a shot, you have every right to say, please don't come around me, and I would respect that. Matter of fact, I voted for Trump. Now, that's going to hurt a lot of people. I don't give a rat's ass. I really don't. My wife's upset that I voted for Trump. Could not vote for the Libertarian. Could not vote for, what's his name, Oliver Chase. Sorry. If I'm going to vote for the lesser of an evil, I'm going to get someone that's going to make some changes. I can't. So, she doesn't hate me. Do you hate me?
Not for that reason.
Well, she doesn't hate me for that reason. She made me a chai. Is that almond I taste? She made me a chai. I'm a truck driver. I have said it 100 times. Truck drivers are very independent-minded people. My company at the time told us we would like to make it close to 100% vaccinated with mRNA. Well, I think they made it to 20 because none of the drivers got it. We all kind of looked at it and we decided, no, that's not for me. Now we have some African American drivers and they didn't get it immediately. They said, no one's sticking anything in my body. I mean, there's a history there. I can't blame them for that. I just cannot tell you. I'm not going to anybody's house and have them preach to me that I'm screwed up. As much as I like this person, as much as I respect this person, if you want to have a discussion, if you want to have a give and take, I'm good with that. But if you want to call my opinion the problem, why would I want to discuss anything with you? Why would I care what you think? You're not open-minded enough to converse? Okay, well, there you go. He's a great guy. He was part of a HOA board that I was on. And to a person, everybody that I've met on the HOA board, I really like. This may surprise a lot of people, but there's the people that I don't get along with, the people that I didn't get along with, the people that I argued with. I like them too. But I have to be open-minded and I have to know myself. I'm 61 years old. I may get to the point where I say, you know what? Time to get that vaccine, that inoculation, because my health is waning, and that might give me a couple extra months, might give me a couple extra years, might kill me immediately, but it'll be my decision. That's what freedom is. Your freedom is to say, I don't want to be around you. because you made that choice. There you go. Well, that's libertarian freedom anyway. I don't know about the rest of it. Wasn't my intention to piss anybody off, but I'm going to say things as I see them, and that's how I see them. And should I get shadow banned? Should this person decide to report this video or this podcast or whatever the hell it lands on, I don't care. It's not why I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing this podcast because my wife don't want to hear me in the mornings.
Don't want to hear you right now, but here we are.
And there it is. She doesn't want to hear me right now, but here we are. That's because I'm not sure I'm going to get up in the morning. She doesn't know this, but I've got about 5 ounces of whiskey in this chai latte.
You lie.
I don't have any whiskey. I hope one day that we can all get past this. I really do. I'm so tired of being at odds with people I care about. It sucks. It's heart-wrenching. That's what it is. I want to be buddies with as many people as I can. I want my wife not to beat me on Saturdays. I mean, she doesn't beat me on Saturdays, but I don't want her to start either.
I can't beat you on Saturdays. I beat you on Sundays.
She can't beat me on Saturdays because she's studying to be a person of the nation of Israel's religion. She's studying the Jewish, what do we call that? The Jewish traditions?
I'm studying Judaism.
She's studying Judaism. I'm old and bald and forgetful. You'd think I could remember the word Judaism. I think that's a valid course. I think that's a way into the Golden Gates. Oh, I gotta go. This is getting lengthy. Hey, I hope that you guys had a good 3-day weekend. I hope you took a moment to memorialize the fallen soldiers who gave their life for our freedoms. Whether you supported the wars or not, those men were honorable, and they did give their life for what they believe was your freedom. I thank them. I thank the families especially. They're the ones that are doing without. I hope that one day we can get beyond our political differences. And I hope that some of you will try this, what is it called, the African red bush?
South African red bush.
South African red bush tea.
Rooibos.
It'll let you,
Rooibos.
it.
I can't pronounce it. South
Yeah,
African red bush.
She's just going to town in there. I just need to I have wireless mics. I'll just start micing her up when I'm doing this and she's awake.
No, I'm studying.
One of the things that she can't do is be awake when I'm doing it in the morning because, they getting up before the crack of dawn, it just ain't going to happen. Anyway, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope that we're going to have a really good week. I hope you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time.
Leetrouw.
Leitrouw.
Malatov.
Molotov.